Hi guys, this is Stan Paillereau for BlenderCookie.com, and today we will continue in our series on how to animate a book in Blender. And contrary of what I told you the last time, in part 2 we are only gonna do the cover and the binding of the book, because I realized it's gonna be a bit too long to do the whole book in one tutorial. So we're gonna keep the modeling and the rigging of the mass of pages for the part 3. As well as how to make nice bone shapes to manipulate the whole rig. And so part 4, it's going to be combining a flipping page and the rest of the book, and how to make nice render with different texture on both sides of the pages. So I'm going to show you some tricks for that in part 4. So today it's going to be modeling and rigging the cover and the binding, and the result is going to be what you are seeing on the screen. So we're going to have a whole rig, and we're going to make sure that we can open and close the book like this with just one bone. So as you can see here, it's going to be a lot of rigging. So we're going to create two set of bone and make sure that we can animate everything with just one controller, which is very nice. Okay, so to start, let's open where we left off last time. So we're going to open the part 1 file, and we're going to start from there. Okay, so here is the files where we left off last time in part 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start the screencast like that. You can see what I'm doing. And then, so we're going to switch to the default viewport like this. And we are going to reorganize a little bit our object in the layers. So I'm going to select all my pages here by hitting A twice. I'm going to hit M to move, and I'm going to bring them on the 4th layer here. Then I'm going to I'm going to select those 2 layers, and I'm selecting all my object with A. I'm going to move them here, where the page were before. Okay, it's just to make sure that they won't interact when we are going to make the book. Okay, so first thing, we're going to model the cover of the book. It's going to be pretty simple. So I'm going to switch in top view, and I'm going to hit Shift A to add a cube. Then in front view, so I'm hitting 1 on the keyboard to go in front view. I'm going to hit Tab to go to edit mode. So I'm going to select all my vertices. So let's switch the limit selection to visible on like this, and so I'm going to select all the vertices on the bottom here, and I'm going to bring them to 0. So I'm typing 0 on the z-axis here, and I'm going to select the vertices on the left, and I'm going to bring them on the x-axis to 0 like this, and I'm going to hit X to delete and the face. So I don't have any face here now, and we are going to the modifier. I'm gonna add a mirror like this, and we're gonna check clipping. Okay, so let's continue. We're gonna bring those vertices on the top to here on the z-axis to 0.04. That's gonna be the thickness of our cover. And then let's do the length of our cover, and this is gonna be 1.7. If you remember, our page was 1.5 in width, so the cover has to be a little bit longer. So 1.7 is okay. And this is the same thing for both. So if I go in the top view, we can grab those vertices on the top, and we're going to bring them here to 1.04, and those on the bottom is going to be -0.04. like that. So we have the basic shape. So now I'm gonna create the edge here. So I'm gonna hit Control R to create an edge loop, and I'm using the right click to make sure that it doesn't move, and I'm gonna bring it to on the x-axis to 0.12 like this, and I'm gonna create another one, same thing, and I'm gonna bring this one to 0.16. Oh, sorry, 0. So 0.16 like this, and this one has to be so we are going to bring it up to, so on the z-axis to 0.04. So we start to have the basic shape, and so I'm gonna create two edge loop here. So Control R to create the edge loop. I'm gonna type 2 to make 2, and left click. And so the idea is to give it kind of a shape. So this part on the book is hard, and this part also, the front and the back covers are hard, the edge is hard, and in between you have a soft part that is going to bend when you open it. So I'm going to create that. So I'm just selecting the vertices and try to make like a nice curve here, something like that. So it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just a matter of what you like. So the important one is this one, because you want to create like a hole on the book. So just bring this one up, so like this. It's gonna be, I think it's okay like this. I think I'm gonna bring that up also, and I'm gonna bring this one here, so to make sure that it's aligned with the one. Just bring that up a little bit more. Let's see. No, maybe. Yeah, here. Okay, you can try to align with this one. Okay, so we have basically our cover. We are just going to make sure that it's set to smooth. So I'm selecting everything with A, and I'm gonna hit smooth and recalculate to make sure that all the numbers are okay. So here we're gonna add subdivision surface just to see how it goes. So okay, everything is seems to be messed up, so but we just need to sharp the edges. So I'm gonna create an edge loops here, and I'm gonna bring it close to the edge. Same thing on the other side here, like this. It's perfect. I'm gonna create an edge loop, so 2 edge loops. So Control R and 2 on your keyboard, and we can scale on the y-axis and close to the edge like this, and that's pretty much all. Yeah, seems okay. So then we will be able to, increase the number of subdivision if you want a nicer result. But this is basically our cover. So now that it is a model, we just need to rig it. So let's do that. Okay, before we start to rig, just forget to rename the cube as the cover. So I'm selecting the cube and let's put cover. Okay. So for the rigging, a good practice is to usually create a different set of bones that has different purpose. So usually we create a set of bone just for the deformation of the mesh. And then we are going to have all the other bones where you can put all the constraint, and that's going to do all the effect. So so let's do that. I'm going to create first the armature with single bone. We're going to call it book armature, like that. Don't forget to save as often as you can, because you never know when Blender is going to crash. I'm going to go here on the little object, little cube here, and I'm going to check X-ray, and the type is going to be wire. So X-ray is making sure that you can see the bone even though there is an object that is in front of it. And wire is just to be less distracted by the entire of the bone, so it's easy to see everything. Okay, so this first bone is going to be, so if you go to edit mode, so you tab to go to edit mode. So this one is going to be the master. So it's not going to deform anything, but this is the bone that's going to allow us to move the book everywhere. So I'm calling it master, and here you have on the hand panel at the top, you have the transform panel. You can see that you can control the position of the head and the tail of the bone. So this part, the one here, is going to be the head, and this one is the tail. Okay, so I just want to bring the tail a little bit down, so I'm selecting the Z on the tail, and I'm going to type .5. Okay, so I'm selecting the tail. I'm going to hit E to extrude on the Z axis, and I'm going to type .5. So I'm creating another bone, and this bone is going to be the controller. So this is the one that's going to control everything. So when I'm going to actually, so in pose mode, when I'm going to rotate the controller, I want the book to close. So if I rotate on this side, I want it to close that way, and if I want to close it on the other side, I want the book to close the other way, like this. So let's clear that with Alt-R. Let's go back to edit mode. So I'm going to select the boss bone, and not to be distracted, I'm going to move them to another layer, and I'm going to put them on the layer on the, let's see, on the bottom here. Okay. So first we're going to create the set of bone for deformation. So I'm going to hit Shift A. It's going to add another bone here. I'm going to select it, and this one's going to be the bones that's going to deform the edge of the book. So I'm going to call it def underscore edge. So yeah, usually the bones that's going to deform something, on the name you put def underscore. I mean, you can put whatever you want, but it's good practice. Like that, you can recognize that this is a bone that's going to deform. I'm going to hit R to rotate, and -90, like that's going to be in the right direction. And I'm going to position, using the head and tail here channels, I'm going to reposition it as I want. So I want the head to be, so on the X it's going to be 0.14, and the Z is going to be 0.04. And for the tail it's going to be -0.14 and 0.04, basically. So now you can see that it's well positioned. Now we are going to create the two bones that's going to deform the back and the front cover. So I'm selecting the head here. I'm going to hit E to extrude, like that. And I want to make sure that, so first we're going to switch the direction of the bone. So there's two ways, or you can type Alt F, or you can hit W and select switch direction here. So I want to make sure the head is at 1.7, and on the Z axis it's going to be 0.02. Okay. I'm gonna select the tail now of the def edge, and I'm gonna hit E to extrude. I'm gonna select this bone and I'm gonna switch the direction, so W to switch direction or Alt F, and I want to make sure that the head is at -1.7, sorry, and 0.02, like that. Let's rename those bones. So this one is gonna be def underscore cover dot R. So why R right for this? Because usually you name them as you wear the book. So this bone is at the right of the book. So that's why this one is going to be R and this one is going to be left. Cover.l. Okay. So those are the set for deformation. So now we just need to bring the other bone, that's where we're going to put all the constraint, and that's going to give the effect we want. So I'm going to select those two bones, and I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate them, and I'm going to hit W to switch direction, like that. Okay, so I'm going to select this one on the left, under the dot L, and I'm gonna call it just cover.l. Same thing for the other one. This time it's gonna be cover.r, obviously, like that. And I'm just gonna reposition. I want to make sure that the head for both of them are on the z-axis at 0.02, like that. Okay, so I'm gonna select the def edge, and I'm gonna hit Shift D to duplicate this one, and I'm gonna call this one edge. Let's call it so this one is gonna be L roll. So roll because that's it's like the setup for foot roll. It's actually the same kind of rigging that had a foot roll. So because you want when you're gonna rotate the main controller in this side, you want the whole book to go in one way, and if you rotate the controller on the other side, everything is gonna rotate in the other way. So you need to set up like an opposite roll. So I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna show you how it works after that. So this one I want it to be positioned on the axis to 0.02 on both head and tail. I'm gonna hit Shift D, and this one is gonna be R roll, and I'm gonna hit W to switch the direction. I'm gonna change the x-axis mirror, and I just want to make sure that those two bones, even though they have a L and a R on their name, I want to make sure they are not mirrored. Okay, so this option allows you to mirror the bone. So typically, if I move this bone, you can see that on the other side it's moving because they have a .R and .L. So the .R and .L tell Blender that those two bones are symmetrical. Just want to make sure that those two edges, L roll and R roll, are not mirrored. And why is that? Is that because when bones are mirrored, usually the parenting is mirrored also. And you're gonna see that I want two different parenting for those two bones. So let's do that. Actually, we're gonna do the parenting for all the bones. So let's start from the def edge. So I want this one to be parented to the edge R roll. So I'm going to select the def edge first, and then the edge R roll after, and I'm going to hit Control P and keep the offset. Okay, now I want to parent the def cover to the cover. So I'm selecting def cover, then cover, and Control P keep the offset. Same thing here. So first the def cover, then the cover, Control P, keep the offset. And then we need to parent the, so let's see, we need to parent the cover, this one, the two covers, and we are going to parent them to the edge R roll, so this one. So I'm selecting first the cover, then the edge R roll, and I'm going to hit Control P, Control P, and keep the offset. And the last parenting is edge R roll. I'm going to parent it to edge L roll. So I'm selecting, and then Control P, keep the offset. And now we want the edge L roll to be parented to the master. So let's bring the master. So I'm going to go to this little icon with a little guy and just shift select the other layer like that. The master and the controller are appearing. So I'm going to select edge L edge L roll, and then the master, and hit Control P, keep the offset. So you can verify the parent when you go to the little bone here icon, and when you select your bone you can see which parent is set. Okay, so we can now, okay, so I'm gonna select the master and hide it now, because now what we need to do is to set up all the constraints we want to make sure that we have the right deformation. So I'm gonna do it bone by bone, and then when everything is done I'm gonna show you how it works, because it's a bit too complicated I think to understand if I explain little by little. And so I'm gonna do all the constraints, and then I will explain everything to you. Okay, so first we need to switch to pose mode here, and so we can select the master and hide it. So I'm going to select the def edge, so we're going to start with this one, and on this one oh no, we're going to finish with this one. It's going to be more simple. So we're going to first start with edge L roll, sorry. So this one we want to copy the rotation of the main controller, this one. So we're gonna add, so I'm going to this bone icon with a little chain, and I'm gonna add a copy rotation. So this bone is gonna copy the rotation of the controller, and it's gonna copy it on the local space, like that. So basically when I'm gonna rotate, oh, first I forget, when we are in edit mode, you want to make sure that the roll of your bone are set up correctly. So you can see that here we have a roll option when you are in edit mode for each bone, and you want to make sure that it's consistent for all the bones. So I'm going to select, so B to box select, and I'm going to select all my bones here on the bottom, and I'm going to hit armature, bone roll, recalculate one, and for those I'm going to recalculate on the z-axis like that. So like that I'm making sure that all my bones are somehow pointing up on the z-axis. And this one I want to make sure that I'm going to type directly. So for the controller, I'm selecting the controller, and on the roll I'm going to put a value of 90 like that, and I'm going to hit Alt H to unhide my master, and the master at 0 is okay. Okay, so I'm going to hide it again. So let's go back to pose mode. And so I'm selecting so the edge L roll, and so I'm also going to add a limit rotation on this one, and I'm going to limit X on the local space from 0 to 90 degrees. I'm going to check transform. So basically this bone is not going to be able to rotate more than 90 degrees. So if I rotate, you can see that so all the bones start to rotate because everything is parented to the edge L roll, in the chain. So like that. So the next constraint we are going to set up is on the edge R roll. So on this one, we're also going to copy the rotation of the book armature of the controller. Let me. Okay. So, but on this one, I'm going to invert. It's going to be on the local space. I'm going to check offset also. And I'm going to add also a limit rotation, also from 0 to 90 on the local space. And you can check for transform also. So now when I'm rotating the controller, you can see that when I rotate the controller on this side, so the book starts to close on this side, and if I rotate the other side, it's closed on the other side. Okay, so just to explain, so this is what the kind of rigging you're doing when you're doing a foot roll. So basically, you parent. So one bone is the main one, and then the other one is parented, and then because you limit the rotation, that allow you to basically have this effect. Okay. So now we need those bones to stay in place, because if we do that, I mean, everything's going to follow. It's not what we want. We want this to stay in place. So let's do the constraint on this one. This one is going to copy the rotation of the book armature, and that's going to be the edge R roll, and it's going to be on the local space like that. And this one, we want to make sure that the rotation, we're going to limit the rotation from 0 to 190, and it's going to be on the world space, and you can check for transform also like that. So now when I'm selecting the controller and start to rotate, you see that these both stay in place exactly as I want, and it's going to rotate also to make sure that when I close on this side, it's going to work. So same thing, I'm selecting cover.r on the other side, copy a rotation, book armature. I'm going to select, this one is going to be edge L roll, and it's going to be on the local space here. And I'm going to limit the rotation also on the X from 0 to 180, and it's going to be on the world space. And you can check for transform. So now when I'm rotating, you can see that I'm closing my book on one side or the other just by using my main controller. So exactly what we want, very nice. The last thing we need to do is when I'm gonna, when I'm closing the book, for example, on one side, I want to make sure that the cover is gonna rest on the floor and not be a little hub as it is right now. So to see it better, we're gonna show you. So I'm gonna switch to object mode. So I'm gonna select my cover, then my armature, and I'm gonna hit Control P, and I'm gonna select with empty groups like that. So everything seems to be messed up, but don't worry. So the armature bring the modifier hub by clicking this little arrow like that. It's a bit better, and uncheck bone envelopes here. We're gonna apply here on the cover our mirror because we don't need it anymore. We just need to set up, so with your cover selected, you can see that it created a vertex group. So if you go to the little triangle here, you can see that Blender created automatically a vertex group for each bone, but we don't need that. We need actually only the depth groups, so you can delete all the other one just keep the def groups, vertex grips. So let's tab into edit mode. So first the def edge is gonna be, so I'm gonna select with B for box select, I'm gonna select all those vertices here, and I'm gonna hit assign. Okay, so let's do first now the left side. So I'm gonna select with B those vertices, and B again, I'm gonna select those vertices here, and I'm gonna select def cover.l and assign. Same thing on the other side, selecting those vertices, B to box select and those vertices, and I'm gonna select def cover.r and assign. And now you can see that when I tab back to object mode, so you can see it's following the armature. So I'm gonna select again my my armature, go to pause mode, go and select my controller, and then I can start to play. So you can see that when I close my book here, we have a little gap, and this is basically why I created. I mean, we're gonna use a some constraint on the def bone to make sure that it's gonna rest on the floor. So let's clear all the rotations. I'm selecting all the bone with A, and then Alt R to clear everything. So so I'm gonna select the def edge, and we're gonna so go to the constraint panel here, and I want this bone to move up and down during the rotation. And the best way to do that is to add what we transformation constraint. So basically, a transformation constraint is you can say that if one bone is going to rotate, for example, from 0 to 90, the bone which you applied the transformation constraint is going to, for example, move from 0 to 2 Blender units, or you can rotate or scale. So you can drive any kind of transformation on one bone by using the transformation of another one. So so the driving bone is going to be the controller again. It's going to be a rotation from mean 0 to on the, let me check to make sure. So it's going to be on the X axis, yes, of course, and it's going to be so from 0 to 90. It's going to be on the local space for both here, and on location you're going to so you're going to select X for all of them here, and on the max here it's going to be -.02. You can save. And so what this is doing is, like, when I'm rotating now, you can see that this bone is gonna be closer to those one on the back, so it's gonna move. Okay. And the last thing we need to do, there is 3 more stuff to do. So the problem is that when I'm rotating the other side, it's not moving. So we need to create another transform. So on the def edge. So again, it's going to be the controller that's going to control everything. I'm selecting rotate. So this time it's going to be -90 to 0. Select X here. It's going to be a lock. That's okay. Select local space. And that's going to be -.02 here. Okay. So now when I'm rotating here, it's getting closer on both sides. Okay. That's perfect. The last stuff we need to do is to make sure that those bones are going to track the position of the def edge. So I'm going to select the def cover.l, and this one is going to have a track to book armature and def edge, this one, and make sure that you check target Z. And same thing on the other side, track to book armature, and def edge and target Z here. Okay, and so the last thing I've done on the def bones is just to make sure that now when I'm rotating, so not too much because it's creating some problems, but if you watch closely, this one, when I'm rotating, it's gonna be resting on the floor. So I still have a problem here, a strange problem, and this is because this one has to track the def edge, but not the head, but the tail of the def edge, and now everything is perfect. So if I select my controller, you can see that when when I'm closing my book, the cover is going to rest on the floor. Okay, you can see that I still have a problem. If I go more than 90 degrees on this bone, everything starts to be messed up. Let's clear everything. So I'll to clear all the rotation, and I'm just gonna select my controller and put a limit rotation on it. It's gonna be on the x-axis on the local space, and to make sure everything nice, we're gonna put 99.9 here, and you can check for transform. For transform is an option that if you check to XYZ here a layer, for transform, make sure that when you're rotating, the value really stop here at 9.9. If you uncheck, you can see you can increase as much as you want, but so it's nicer it's cleaner to check the for transform, and it's gonna be between minus 99.9 to 89.9, like that degree. Okay, so as you can see, everything seems to be nice and clean. So the whole rig allows us to make sure that you don't want to rotate the controller on the Y and Z axis, or you're going to start to have some other problems. So you can lock the Y and Z rotation with those two locks here. So now you can see that the rigging works pretty well. Alt R to clear the rotation, and you can see that when we are open, the book is resting on the edge, and when you close the book, it's resting on the cover. So very nice. Okay, so that's all for the cover. So now we can jump into creating the mass of pages and the binding. Okay, so we are going to start first with the book binding. Like that, we're going to make a pause during this heavy rigging session. So let's switch to layer 2 and go into top view. So we're gonna first do the mesh of the binding. So I'm gonna add a plane. Let's restart my screen crest. Like this is better. And let's rename this plane to binding, like that. We're gonna give him the right proportion, so it's gonna be so with the top vertices selected here, we're gonna type on the y-axis 1.02, and on the bottom one it's gonna be minus 1.02, like that. On the right vertices, we're gonna bring them on the x-axis to the 15, and on the left it's gonna be minus 15, like that. We can select everything and W subdivide and 5 times. That's gonna be good enough. Okay, so pretty simple for now. Don't forget to save. I'm gonna actually save as okay. So now to animate the binding during the the book binding, we're gonna use, as we did for the pages, we're gonna use a lattice. And so if you look for references, so you can see that usually all the pages are put together with a little piece of fabric usually that's gonna so all the pages are glue on these little fabrics, so that keeps them all together. And this little fabric, if you watch closely when you open a book, it's gonna start to bend when the book is open, and then it's gonna start to be a little more flat when the book is closed. So we're gonna animate that thanks to a lattice. So let's do Shift N, add a lattice. We're gonna call it lat underscore binding. Sorry, binding, like that. So on this lattice, I want it to be flat. So on the Z, on the W, you can just put one dimension on the Y, on the W, sorry, and the U we're gonna increase up to 5, like this. Now we just need to scale this lattice right. So here on the end panel you can find the scale channels, and we're going to put on the x-axis it's going to be 0.3, on the y it's going to be 2.05, and we can keep the 2.1. Okay, next thing is we're gonna bring both our binding and lattice. So I'm gonna hit G, Z, and 0.04. Bring that up a little bit. So let me now we can select all those 3 layers to show everything. And what we are going to do is we just have one bone to create for the binding, and we can actually use a bone we already created, but just to have everything nice and clean, I'm going to create one just to deform the binding. So I'm going to select my armature here, and I'm going to tab to go to edit mode, and I'm going to select the edge R roll, and I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate this one, and we can call it def underscore binding. So def because it's going to be a bone that's going to deform our binding. And so I'm going to shift select the edge R roll, and I'm going to hit Control P, keep the offset. And so the def binding is actually gonna just follow the edge R roll, and that's all we need. Now we just need to, so the little trick here is it is actually possible to deform a lattice with an armature, which is super great. So let's select the lattice, and we're gonna go here to the object data, and you can see that we can create vertex group, so that's great. We're gonna create 3 vertex group. So the first one is gonna be def underscore cover.l, and we're gonna assign, so on front view you can select with B all the vertices on the right, and you're gonna assign. And which is great with the lattice is that you can see which vertices are assigned to a vector group just by selecting the group, and you see that it turns red when one vertices is part of a group, so it's pretty great. Then I'm gonna this group we're gonna name it def underscore cover.r, and that's gonna be those vertices on the left, so assign. And the last one is gonna be our def binding. Let me check if that's the good name. Yeah, def binding, that's okay. Okay, great. And so for this group, we're gonna select all those vertices here and click assign. So before we apply the armature first, we're just gonna let me show you first. So we're gonna select the controller and hit Alt R to create the rotation, and we are going to actually move the controller to it's already on its own. So what we're going to do is just select this layer here, like that we are not disturbed by the other bones. And so when the book, the cover is resting like that on the floor, you want the binding to be a little bit curved like this. So we are going to do that on edit mode. So I'm selecting the lattice, and so I'm gonna select unselect all the vertices with A, and then I'm gonna select with B all the vertices at the middle, and I'm gonna bring them to here. We can type if you select global here, we're gonna type 0.06, and then we're gonna select all those vertices here, the one under us, and those ones are gonna be 0.055 like that. So that's the kind of curve you want for the binding. Let's select the geometry of the binding and apply the lattice. So I'm gonna go to the little bench here and select lattice and lat binding. And usually there is a little bit of thickness on the binding, so we can actually do it by adding a solidify modifier, and we can change the thickness to, let's say, I think 0.01 is okay. So you can do even thickness and high quality normals to make sure everything is nice. Let's see. So you want to go to edit mode with the binding, select all the vertices and recalculate the normal and flip the direction. Yeah, like that's gonna be a bit better. Okay. Let's see, what do we have to do? We can still on the binding, we can add a subdivision surface like that, and set everything to smooth. So if you go to edit mode, you just find the smooth shading here, and we are going to sharp a little bit the two edge at the end. So Control R to create an edge loop and bring it close to the edge. Same thing on the other side. Control R, not too much, like this. So it should be a bit more nice like that, yeah. So now the thing we need to do is just select the lattice, the lat binding, and we're gonna add an armature, uncheck bone envelopes, and select the book armature. So now when I'm selecting the controller, it should work. If I start to rotate my controller, you can see that the binding is following, and it tends to so it's binding when we are flat, and when we rotate, so it's almost flat. You can see that we have a little bump here. There is one way to correct that. There's different way to correct that. So first, you can go with it if you like. The fact that it's bending when it's closed like that, you can leave it like this. But if you want to have it totally flat, what we can do actually is we can control a shape key with a driver to make sure that it's going to be flat. So let me show you. We're going to do that. It's a bit more advanced, but at the end we're going to have everything nice and clean. So the good thing with the lattice is that you can create shape keys. And right now we only have so one shape key, which is the basis. So if you you have nothing. So if you click on the plus here, you're going to have the basis. And so we're going to add another one, which is going to be the key one. And then if you go to, so make sure that your book is closed, select your lattice, and so with the key one here selected, you can go to edit mode, hitting tab. You need to check this little box here to make sure that you see what's going on. And I'm going to, so unselect all the vertices with A, select with B the vertices at the middle. I'm going to hit grab and Z. And you're gonna try to find the right position you want. So for example, like this, it's pretty good. Okay, so when you tab back is go back like this, but now if I play with the value here, you can see that I can bring the middle right like this. Another thing we can do, as you can see here, it's nice and it enters in the cover as we want, but not on this side. And I think it's because the interpolation here should be linear, and it's a bit better, but it means that we need to change the key one a little bit more. So grab Z, and let's see, I don't have the right one, like this one, grab Z. Yeah, it's more like this, and we can actually move those ones a little bit too. So grab C, yeah, and we can flatten them up like this. So now if I play with the value, it's a bit better like that. Okay, and now we can, so if I select my control and hit Alt R and I go back, I say, oh, everything is messed up again. So this is because in that case we want we don't want the key to be at 1 but at 0. So we need to drive this value during the time we're rotating the controller. So the way to do that is, so we're gonna right click on the value here, and I'm gonna add a driver. So let's split our view in two like that, and here we're gonna select graph editor, and here you have F-core editor, and we're gonna change it to driver. Let me check 1 second what we need to, the exact setup for that. Yeah. So if you type N here, you're gonna bring the N panel, and here you, with a little arrow, we're gonna select the value key 1. And so the driver is gonna be the controller, and so let's see, where is it? Here. Okay. Okay, so so you're gonna want to set up we're gonna keep a transform channel here, and here you're gonna want to select book armature, and here it's gonna be the controller, and the channel that's gonna drive this value is actually arrow X rotation on the local space. You can delete this one, the modifier, we won't need it. And here you can keep script expression, and we are going to type var. So this is a star, so var star var. And why is that? Is that because let me show. So when I'm gonna rotate this controller, you can see that the value of the X rotation, the local X rotation, is not a degree value, because this is 34, you can see here, and correspond to a 0.6. So basically it's going to use more the quaternion value, which is a value from 0 to 1. And so that's why here I just need to do var by var like that. And if I so actually it's just a matter of tweaking for this value. So var correspond to the value of the X rotation local space of the controller, and I just tweak the function here to make sure that I have the right value and the right value here. So, and you can see everything is nice and clear. So it's not working on the other side. So let me check why is that. Why do I have this problem here? Let's see. Not sure why. Okay, so it seems that the value is still 1 here. So that's what we want. But why is it? So let me hide this. So sorry, let me have a look and I go back. Okay, so I found the problem. Actually, when I duplicate the edge R roll bone to create my depth binding, I forget to delete the constraint that were on the edge R roll. So just select your depth binding and delete both constraints here, and everything should be nice and clean now. Let me show you. So we're gonna hide those bones, just to have only the controller. And now if I rotate, you can see that everything is nice and clean. Okay guys, this is the end of this part 2 for today. And so in the next week, in part 3, I'm gonna cover how to model and animate the mass of pages. And I'm gonna show you also how to have a nice bone shape for your controllers. And in part 4, we're going to combine flipping page plus the rest of the book, and I'm going to show you some tricks to make nice renders with different texture on both sides of the pages, and how we can make a nice render in Cycle. I hope you enjoy this part 2 tutorial, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to leave a comment, and I will answer as soon as I can. And that's all guys, see you next time, bye.